So I want to express a short thought uh, in honor of October 7th today. Now, if you notice on my screen over there, I have pictures of those who have fallen on October 7th. I will put the phone down at this point. I also have it printed out so that we could remember them and honor them and so on. You know, it's very. This is not like this usual sort of thought out, prepared class. This is just thoughts that are coming to my mind on this very deeply painful day. Um, so, thought number one that I want to share is that although we're commemorating today on October 7th, the real yahrzeit is on Simchat Torah. Simchat Torah was the day of the massacre. The English day is on October 7th, but it's really on Simchat Torah. And, our enemies, their intention was not October 7th. Their intention was to do this on Simchas Torah. But nevertheless, October 7th is the day that many are marking the anniversary of this most painful day that is impossible to wrap our minds around. Just very sad. It's tragic, painful, deeply painful. And so how do you move on? How do you go further? What do you take from this day? How do you honor the loved ones and so on? So to me, there are two things that I don't know if silver lining is the right word, or that gives you, lifts you up somewhat. And these are two beliefs. A belief in God, as difficult as that might be. We believe in God. It's deep in our kishkis. It's deep in our essence. And while we have to compartmentalize, we have no choice. We have to be accepting that we cannot understand the ways of Hashem. We cannot rationalize how such horror and pain and cruelty can happen to our people. At the same time, we have seen both on October 7th and in this last year, countless miracles related and told by many of how they were saved and how they saw the hand of God in, whether it's soldiers, in battle, whether it's 300 missiles flying and aimed at Israel, and the only person killed is a Gazan that fled Gaza. Now, I don't know if he was an innocent person or he was part of terrorists. I don't know. But there are so many stories of miracles that have been shared of people that have been saved or saw the hand of God in the fighting against all this horror and terror. But I would say perhaps something equally important that could lift us up in this difficult time is belief in our fellow human beings, in our fellow people. There are incredible heroic stories that we've heard and seen, and there's so many that in this short thought that I'm sharing with you, cannot all be listed. I mean, take the story of that Sapir Cohen, a hostage herself, and she shared many stories. One of the stories that really touched me that she shared is that as she is captured and she is coming to try to deal with being a hostage of Hamas, she meets a fellow hostage. I think it was a 16-year-old who was trembling, who was just in the highest state of anxiety, as we, thank God, can't even begin to imagine. And she says to herself, Sapir says to herself, now I know why I'm here. I'm here to be a comfort and to give strength to this young teenager. I mean, what noble, that's talk about a miracle of a human being. That's just incredible. I mean, I read today, here I have over here, I read today a story, a fellow, I think by the name of, his name is Rami Davidian. He's a fellow who lived just outside the Gaza envelope. And he got a call from a friend that told him that a friend's child was in one of the villages over there, one of the kfarim, and he asked him if he could help, if he could go down and help save this friend's child. And he drove into the sort of hornet's nests of the terrorists, and somehow he found this child and managed to pack 15 people into his car and brought them to safety. But he wasn't satisfied with that. He kept on going back, and because he knew the area so well, through back roads, he managed to save 750 people on that day. He just kept on going back, filling his car into the danger zone, into the killing zone. So it is these two things, and I was really struggling and saying, okay, what are the thoughts for today? We see all these memorials as should be done. What is the positivity that we could come away with? What is the lesson? And that is the belief in Hashem, but perhaps even equally, and maybe even more importantly, belief in human beings. We got to see this last year who our friends are and who are not our friends. And we got to see who are truly our friends of all walks of life, of all religions. This is something that's really come to the front in this last year. I saw the other day, who is that known journalist, Douglas Murray? I think that's his name. And when Nasrallah was eliminated, he said that that the Torah says, he says a friend of his told him the Torah says that you can't rejoice at the fall of your enemies. That's from a statement from King Solomon. But he says, but I'm not Jewish, he says, and I don't necessarily have to follow the Torah. So I could go ahead and I could rejoice on Nasrallah's elimination. People like that who have stepped up to defend the Jewish people. Jewish people from our own who have stepped up in the sense that they have shown their total selfless dedication. I saw the other day, I forgot his name right now, I don't have it in front of me, a reservist captain or ranking member in the military who has not gone home since October 7th. His children come to visit him. He says, until this war is over and until we return all our hostages, I am staying on the battlefield. It's incredible. It's just incredible. We also learned that getting a diploma doesn't mean that you're a mensch, as we've seen on the colleges. But I think it's these two things, that despite the horrors and not being able to understand the ways and how God could allow this, nevertheless, we see God's hand throughout the year as we recover, as we come together, as we show who we are, the strength of our people, and the belief in fellow man, in incredible, miraculous goodness of fellow man throughout this year. Those are the things that that are giving me some comfort, and I'm sharing that with you. So in the sort of spirit of Yom Kippur, you know what else we've seen? Talk about the spirit of Yom Kippur. After October 7th, we've seen people step up in every area, whether it's monetary, whether it's volunteering, whether it's it's sending clothing, whatever it might be. People, we've seen that we could do so much more, and we have done so much more. So in the spirit of Yom Kippur, there's also that lesson, that as we embark another year and we honor and celebrate and commemorate the October 7th anniversary, there's that lesson in moving forward, in taking the pain and directing it, and doing another mitzvah, doing another act of kindness, another help to a fellow human being who's struggling in whatever area of life, including in the October 7th massacre and so on. but it's shown us in the last year, we have surprised ourselves how much we've stepped up to the plate. I know my daughter Dvorley, I'm so proud of her. She works for Rebbetzin Klein, Rebbetzin Mendy, I think, and Chani Klein, who right after October 7th, they are shluchim, they are emissaries in the city of Eilat, where the city doubled. Over 60,000 refugees came to Eilat. And for months and months, they stepped up to the plate to provide daycare and help and encouragement in so many areas. Incredible, incredible. So, New Year, we're moving and taking and directing as we always do. We have no choice. We have no choice. We don't let these things, the way to defeat those who want to destroy us is that we move forward. We direct our pain in growth, in helping, in more goodness, more kindness, another mitzvah. And we've seen in the last year that no matter where we stood a year before, we've exploded in kindness and goodness and in mitzvahs. So let that be our source of comfort and the way we honor those who have fallen. May this be the last that we have to go through this kind of pain. May we be successful in eliminating our enemies. May we not focus on the elimination of enemies, but the power and goodness of our people. And may we find comfort in that. Wishing you a meaningful October 7th. And of course, taking that lesson and moving on to Yom Kippur and Simchas Torah, when we will be able to rejoice with the miracle of our people despite all its challenges. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my pain with you, and hopefully together we could be there sort of to encourage each other and share only in each other's simchas.